We got a Reddit post. It's just maybe, for those who don't want to add any commentary to it. This once again, we're talking about the safety in TZ. Is it safe to be in TZ? Is it something to be concerned of? Should you clutch your pearls? What's going on? They labeled a level 3. Is that three strikes you're out? Like, what does that mean? So we got some people here who says, is it safe to travel to Tanzania right now? Now this was according to 6 months ago. So there was a few things going on not too long ago. I'm not really going to get on that in this particular discussion. And there's some recent news I may speak about a personality, for the lack of a better word, that was very unfortunate. But that's world news is world news, and justice, anywhere is a justice, everywhere is the old saying goes. So is it safe to travel to Tanzania right now or in general? It says planning my Kilili climb. I think I pronounced it right. Y'all have to excuse me. I am almost illiterate sometimes. It is so sad. But saw recent news and wanted to ask people who are there or have just visited, how's the situation on the ground? I love how the terminology, like we're in a war zone, safe for tourists. Anything to avoid? Thanks. Good question. So we have a few people. Let's see what they said. To echo what a couple people have already commented, yes, Tanzania is generally safe. Hey, there you go. And open for tourism. We've been in constant communication with our local team to monitor the situation, and with their insight, we've written an article about it here. I'll let y'all click on that. Y'all can see, if you want to find this article here. And I'll try to I'm gonna always link my sources at the bottom, so you can see where I got this information from, so you can click and feel free to follow that. Someone else says it's safe to travel with a few considerations, and they post another link. They're trying to get you to, I'm starting to wonder if it's some kind of a funnel. I respect the business here. Hey man, click on this and sell you a little something. No, I'm just playing. For what I understand, as someone else has stated, yes, it's safe. All the trip advisories were mostly cautioning travelers about political gatherings in urban and more populated areas, but actual tourist routes, etc., are more than fine. I've been quite hesitant, but after doing some research and reading around, I found that majority of the sources report daily life continuing as usual. So yeah, this is pretty much on par with what I would say is pretty accurate. Like I said, doing business there, we have business meetings at least every week, and sometimes we have some impromptu meetings throughout the week. So it's many times, if there is something going on, we are just as informed as, well, I can't say just as informed, but we were pretty informed. So I'd let you know if it was something a little bit more than that. Tanzania is generally safe for tourists. Let's see. So I think most of these, somebody said absolutely yes. So they're enthusiastic about this one. It's safe to travel. So yeah. So I'll post this link here so you can see what a lot of people are speaking about. I don't believe these are bots. Maybe some of them might be, but I think these are mostly genuine conversations based on that. So yeah. With that being said, always proceed with caution anytime you travel, anywhere that you plan on going, anywhere in the world. That's just life, people. Let's not be foolish out here. Let's use a little bit of common sense. I understand common sense is not common, but it is necessary for you to pay your dues and educate yourself for your own self-preservation. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good conversation. I don't think I need to dig into that too much anymore. Just understanding the general need of planning before you take any trip. I don't care if it is Cambodia or Hawaii. I don't care if it's Paris or Kekistan. I don't care where it is. You need to make sure that you plan things accordingly. All right, be a smart traveler, and that means being a safe traveler. Okay, so we're gonna move into a little bit more, speaking about just some general business and welfare topics regarding some things that are discussed on the continent. What are we about to discuss right now? I found this video that I thought was very interesting. Like I said, I like to discuss different opportunities on not just where our company is located in TZ, in Dar es Salaam. For those of you who are tuning in, TZ is Tanzania, however you want to pronounce it. When I say however you want to pronounce it, it's not me being rude. There was a local who, a good friend of ours actually, who gave us that confidence in saying such a thing. Maybe he's incorrect. So once again, if y'all say, hey, I don't really like how you saw it, that sounds offensive, because once again, I do not pretend to be a local. Okay, if you come over here and someone said something backwards to me, I'd correct them lovingly, because once again, especially if I'm aware that you're not from where I'm from or the country that I reside in, to which you are occupying at that particular point in time, you probably don't know what's going on. I got to give you the benefit of the doubt, right? So give me the benefit of the doubt, because I'm trying to do my best. Anyway, this video is very interesting. It's an old video, I believe. Let me see if it says on here. I'm using a different format. This is probably, some of the comments are about a year old. I think this is, I'm so used to seeing this stuff on my phone. 3 years ago when this was posted. And let's see a little bit more. So it's about cybersecurity, has its sights set on Africa and seeks to bridge a gap between Africa's cybersecurity and the Western world. Interesting. I don't know. Let's see what they're talking about. Let's see if we agree with it. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Hello.
Hello,
welcome.
Paul. Thank you.
Yeah. So recently at the Africa Business Summit, your company made headlines. President Joe Biden talked about your company as one of those companies to look out for. It is on the cutting edge of technology.
So you heard Joe Biden. If you're not familiar with American politics, Joe Biden was our former United States president. Now our president is Donald J. Trump. So this was a little minute ago, clearly, because Donald Trump has been president it's been about a year and a half now. So I'm just kind of using this as a introduction to pretty interesting topic, because cybersecurity is one of those things that is still a new frontier. And by new frontier is because the digital age is forever evolving, and that includes the digital crimes that come with it. And yes, cybersecurity is not something that any major country or global power of that mindset should take lightly. It's something that I think it's a career path for many that I don't believe is going out of business anytime soon. However, I will be honest with you, I'm a little bit, I don't want to call it pessimistic. I just understand that security is an illusion in itself. Which makes a great business talking point, right? Once again, this is a business channel, fundamentally speaking. So, what sells more is telling people, hey, I'm going to keep you safe. There's no such thing as really being safe, but to do the best you can. It doesn't mean that you say, oh well, all hope is lost, there's nothing we can do about it. No, you want to do the best you can. However, the more security you offer in the digital field, you have to understand that more people are going to find other ways, creeks and crevices, to sneak in and try to make that type of measure outdated. So let's see what they're speaking on a little bit more. It seems to be this gentleman has a idea and a solution.
Tell us more.
So yes, definitely. We were happy during the summit to sign 850 million contracts with 6 countries in Africa to bring some US technologies into Africa to bridge the gap, the cybersecurity gap, and to bring US technologies, not just US technologies, but also US education to do some capacity building and help them in the cybersecurity need.
What was it like for your company to be part and parcel of the Africa Business Summit?
No, it was a great experience, and we were very happy. But also, it's just to show the amount of work that we put together the last 5 years in Africa, where we were able to definitely help out the government, but also working alongside with our U.S. partner. So it was a great day and a good achievement for us.
What does it take for, let's say, people earlier they were talking about a story in Nigeria where they're worried that people might hack into their systems during the elections. You are a guy in cybersecurity. What does it take to stop something like that?
So, look, I'm not here to stereotype at all. I'm not here to stereotype at all. It's funny. Cause this is my first time, by the way, watching. This is a real reaction to this video. I try to bring real reaction videos to the best of my ability. Some I might have reviewed, or I might review the first couple of minutes of it. Excuse me. And yeah, so the Nigerian one sounded like a sleight of hand. He always picking on Nigeria, but hey, as you will see, because I may have a few videos to kind of back it up. Nigeria is has been very interesting when it comes to a lot of nefarious scams and things of that nature. And we will get to that. Not just Nigeria, other places as well. I think one of them I'm going to review is in South Africa. Maybe Johannesburg. I'm not really sure. Don't quote me on that just yet. I wouldn't be surprised though. Johannesburg is a major city in South Africa. But yeah, there are certain countries more than others that have mastered the art of really taking advantage of new technology. And for people who may be a little ignorant of the continent of Africa, as I said, is a continent, is not a country. And so you have some countries that are, for the lack of better phrasing, not to be disrespectful, more developed in certain areas than others. And the ones who are a little bit more developed are the ones who also can take advantage of the technical opportunities that are there. And just like any other country that has a strong tech sector, you're always going to have those nefarious forces that work in the shadows to do a whole lot of harm for something that was designed to do a whole lot of good. So let's see what he has to say about Nigeria. Y'all always picking on Nigeria, with the email scams. Some of y'all got the Nigerian princes offering you a whole lot of money if you click on a link. Side note, just to be fair, my good friend, unfortunately, got his Facebook page messed up by someone in Nigeria. Hey, look, we found out where you're at. I'm gonna fly to Nigeria and find that guy, because he lost a lot of pictures. He had that Facebook page since high school, man. Like that was tragic. So things like this happen. It's definitely not a one-off thing either.
So definitely it takes government involvement. It also takes the private sector to come and help, because the government alone cannot do it by himself. And Africa has been moving so fast into the digital realm. You look at the infrastructure, it's becoming more digitalized by the day. And they're looking for ways to improve and to capitalize on that. So with our help, the US help, because we're coming as one stop shop, we are going to be able to definitely not get rid of these issues, but have a good handle. But it takes, like I said, private sector in order to build an everlasting solution as the one that we seek to do in Africa.
I like how he said that it is not just the government's inability to really attack this issue and try to bridge the gap of the void when it comes to securing the new technology that's brought forth. I mean, we talk about AI and things of that nature, and it's heavily compounding in its evolution. Seems to be every other day, which is a very interesting topic. I may speak on a few things about that later, but I like how he also said this is a private sector issue as well. I would even argue even more so. You really want to have. I'm kind of telling myself here. I'm big on less government and more moves in the private sector. But I mean, I'm a business person, so of course I'm going to say that. And there's a reason for that though, because the private sector normally can move freely outside of the rigidness of the government. The governments are not meant to be businesses, although some can be dealt with as such, and that you can have a success in doing so, especially if you have business-minded people, possibly in charge. But even that doesn't necessarily mean so much. The government really needs to focus on what I would say sovereignty of the nation, their military and things of that nature, and of course infrastructure, and making sure that the red tape to get certain things done with respect to business and stimulating the economy is not going to be a hindrance. So I like what he said there. I did want to go back. I think let me see. It was something they were showing right here. Wow. So Sebastian are facilitating 10 major cybersecurity export contracts. There's a few countries, Niger, Congo, Benin, Cameroon, and the figure here, almost $1 billion in these contracts. So this is a really big move here that they're doing, and I wonder. I'd have to look up to see how it's been going. I'm gonna take a note here of that particular company and see what is the turnout as of today. Let's see if there's anything being discussed here. Let's move a little bit further on the meter, because I have some other things I want to talk about. But let's see where we're going in this conversation.
Knowledge transfer. So it's going to be split evenly between US companies and also African companies to build, because one of the takeaway from the summit was we need to train the US. The US need to train the young African to embrace the technology with the right tools and set of equipment, just like India did back in the 90s. So we are going to heavily invest into the youth to train them, to make sure that they have the right skills, but also into companies to make sure that the private sector is going to be robust. So like I said, it's a public-private solution where you bring all of them together to enhance the cybersecurity posture of the country.
Wanji, sometimes when I talk to a lot of people on the continent, especially people who are in the tech space, they talk about the advent of the internet as a good thing, but they also talk about the risks involved, let's say, when it comes to cybersecurity. You are the good doctor here, the person trying to stop those cyber crimes. What should we expect in the near future from your vantage point?
So definitely, so from our company, you're going to, because what we have been starting to do is to work with the public sector to make sure that at the nation state, we establish the framework, we establish the rules, the policies, and so on and so forth. So now we're moving into the private sector to help them, to give them the tools to work alongside with the public sector. And also, we're also going to be bringing some cyber insurance, working with insurance company in the US to do that, because they're going to be a remaining risk. No matter what you do, they're going to be a remaining risk that you need to take into account. So what you should expect from our company is more involvement with the private sector to level the field playing, so you can have the public and the private sector playing together to enhance the cybersecurity posture and to provide the tools to the population, but also the private sector to be able to leverage that technology, digital.
I love the focus once again with the private sector, and I love what he stated about training the young minds for the future. In doing so, that really is one of the biggest pushes I think that any government entity or any local private entity should always try to seek for, and that is training the youth for the future. And not leading it to the retiring generations of the elders to figure out things that I won't say don't concern them, because of course it concerns them, but it concerns the youth for a much longer period of time. That's one. And then two, it's because these are fresh minds. This generation is much more tech savvy as well. You typically, one thing I know when I was on the ground in TZ, it's a lot to be desired when it comes to even just the simple cell phones. I mean, having a smartphone walking around Dar anywhere in TZ is a huge advantage. When I'm saying a smartphone, I just mean like a simple Android. I'm not even talking about like an iPhone or Google Pixel or anything of that nature. It's but in bringing that up, you normally see the younger generation utilizing it more. And for population purposes, speaking of TZ, it's a much more younger population. It's one of the largest, I think, youngest populations on the entire continent of Africa. So that in itself, for those who may be interested in doing business TZ, keep that in mind with respect to demographic. That is a very young, emerging population. I think majority of people are between the ages of like 18 and 35. It's a very small percentage of people who are even in their 60s. From one source that I read a while back, and that wasn't so long ago to where I don't think that's has changed very much. So definitely instilling into the future of the youth, and utilizing government resources in the private sector as well, and asking, some people always say, hey, why they always ask for help outside of their own domain. Well, that's just part of trade. No empire of any sort or country that has its weight in salt doesn't know how to trade. If you become an island apart for yourself, you're going to pretty much implode within yourself. It's something you have to really keep in mind, because I'm pretty sure some of that people are scratching their head like, U.S. security. Yeah, you make sure you always weigh those options. You don't want certain things in your business, in your personal business, with respect to sovereign nations. But it is important to understand that level of framework there. I like how he was, so he's pretty much developing the framework for all of this, and he was speaking about insurance risks. I think that in itself is an industry within an industry. Insurance is a broad term, and anytime you're attaching insurance to anything, that is something that a lot of people might perk up to. Now, how that can be implemented, what that really means, how that protects people who he's talking about, as far as protecting, is he speaking about government officials, speaking about the government, is he's talking about individuals. This was a short video, so maybe he gets more into that later. But I thought that was a pretty good introduction on just a topic that I think a lot of people miss. Like, if you are not understanding the up-to-date technical challenges, or you're not even in the conversation when it comes to stuff like this, as a sovereign nation, in securing, your not sound redundant, but implementing cybersecurity, meaning dealing with the rise in the different ways of hackers, viruses, AI bots, AI just in general, and everything that's associated, under that umbrella. You are unfortunately pushing yourself into the Stone Age, which you do not want. Not for the sake of your people, because to be left out, it may sound good when you say, I don't want to deal with the world and all its problems. I get it. I understand. I'm with you to some sense. For those of you who don't know, I'm from the country. I like being out in the rural area away from people. Okay. But at the same time, you have to understand that the world is getting smaller. We're in a global economy. And so it's big fish eat little fish. You have to understand what's going on, what's moving and shaking, and I like the fact that he's taking the initiative and building some type of framework around this issue. So kudos to him. Once again, I'll post the link so y'all can watch the entire little video. It's only about close to 5 minutes on that one, and there's probably a few follow-ups there. So I think that's a good thing to stop on for this, and we will let's continue to move forward from further discussion, speaking about security scams and things of that nature. So if you like what you hear, please like, comment, or dislike. If you don't like it, hey, don't kill the message. Now don't dislike it because you don't like what he was saying. If something you didn't like, I'm just speaking on, just bringing to your attention. Okay. So and if you like the general flow of this podcast, please subscribe. Once again, I am JE3, and we will continue with this discussion. This is the People United podcast. We are Wakazi.